For more on that, we're now joined in studio by Aluf. He's the Director of Research and Strategy at Signal, the Institute for Israel-China Relations. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for welcoming me here.
After the 5G Huawei campaign, is it unlikely that the next step by Trump might be asking its allies around the world to also block TikTok and WeChat, as he's doing?
At this point, I don't think very many things seem unlikely under the Trump administration. I think Pompeo has already requested, or rather proposed this plan on the clean internet, where he wants countries essentially to ban harmful entities from different areas of the technology ecosystem. So that includes hosting Chinese applications on American phones, for example. It includes preventing the tapping of undersea fiber cables and preventing China essentially from building 5G infrastructure.
If we're looking at the position of Israel within this trade and tech war between China and the U.S., Israel is really trying to avoid the drops while it's raining heavily. How long do you think it can maintain that position of being friends with both, with clearly being a very good ally of the U.S. for many years, but then also having very substantial relations in the last few years with China?
It's a very tricky situation for Israel. I think many people try and frame this as Israel having to choose. That's the Western media's talking about America applying pressure on its allies to choose either America or China. But Israel already has a side. Israel is an American ally, and Israel will obviously have to accommodate the Americans as much as possible. At the same time, Israel does also want to continue its economic relations with China. The Americans are concerned about core technologies and critical infrastructures, and these are things that in Israel they're not even debating. What is a core infrastructure? What is a core technology? And this debate needs to happen, and Israel needs to formulate a plan to navigate this, because there is certainly room for Israel to develop a strategic plan that will delineate the boundaries clearly with Beijing, while at the same time speaking to the American concerns and showing the Americans that we understand our own national security risks.
If the U.S. is to create a list of countries that are clean of Chinese technology, is Israel in or out?
I mean, I would imagine that Israel would not let foreign entities meddle in its critical infrastructure, particularly telecommunications. Anyway, we've seen in the past that Dorit Salinger, then director of the capital markets, blocked Phoenix and Kroll for similar reasons, that they didn't want Chinese companies to have access to very sensitive information on the Israeli side. So it all depends on the Israelis and how they are thinking about the situation and developing a strategy and policy for engaging the two countries.
Okay. Aluf, thank you very much for coming to